So, a brother recently posted a video. William Majors. I don't remember exactly what his Facebook says anymore. But it's the reason that I follow this brother. Like, wholeheartedly, the reason that I follow this brother. He says what the Father speaks to him, and he does not hold back. He doesn't care if people stop following him. He doesn't care if people block him. And you can tell by the things that he says that he's not here to people please. That's not his goal at all. He's not looking for followers. For him, he's looking for people who really, really want to follow God. And the video cut me deep, and it was a message to young Hebrews, or Hebrew babes. I can't remember how he phrased it. But I listened to it today at work, and he was talking about how when we're young in understanding of identity and young in understanding of the law, our zeal for both of them will get us in trouble. And it had me looking back, because it really did. Like, there's some damaged relationships, because when I woke up, I had no guidance. I had no elders showing me, hey, you need to calm down, sit down for a while, learn what you're talking about. Which is one of the main points that he was saying is the reason that our zeal will get us in trouble is because we don't have the knowledge when we're young. We don't have the knowledge to teach, but we listen to the way that people like, I'm going to call him Elder Brown teach. We listen to these teachings, and it's just so much knowledge poured into it. It blows our mind, and then we want to go out and we want to share it, but we don't got the research that he has. We haven't done the research. We haven't done the work. We don't have the time in prayer. We don't have the time in fasting that he has probably put in. I don't know what his background, how he preps, or how the Father gives him his messages. I'm not sure, but I know from the detail that he gives, this man is putting in work, and it's amazing. But I said all that to say this: after thoroughly listening to it, after absorbing it, I got to apologize to my Christian friends. When I first came to understand what my heritage is, when I first came to understand that we are supposed to be keeping God's law, I went crazy, which is, it's something William Brown said would happen. Elder Brown said would happen. It happened. So it was, for me, the message hurt, but it was also comical, because I was able to look back and I'm like, man, I was an idiot. I should have never did it that way. And I mean, hindsight is 20/20. Only thing I can do now is a public apology, because I publicly bashed a lot of these doctrines with no historical or biblical proof. It took me a long time to get either one. I think I'm like 18 months, almost 2 years into knowing who I am and that we are supposed to be keeping God's law. And it took me a long time to settle down. It took me a long time to not get baited into some of these debates so easily. I still get baited into some debates pretty easy. Others I just kind of shake my head and scroll past, or if it's in person and somebody asks something real ignorant, I don't respond. Like, there's no need. I don't have to respond to every situation. So to my Christian friends, I apologize. Sincerely, I apologize. Elder Brown, thank you. Thank you for never holding back. Thank you for never covering up the word of Yah. But most of all, man, I honestly do thank God for you so often. I remember when I first woke up, one of the sisters had pointed me in your direction, and I had messaged you like, hey, do I need to read the Apocrypha? And the only response I got was no. And I distinctly remember that, and it kind of hurt my feelings. Like, man, here I am trying to learn from this guy, and he don't even want to respond to me. And there was another time I tried messaging him, got a one-word answer. I'm like, well, what does it take for this guy to take me up under his wing and to teach me? So I remember watching a lot of your videos, man, and I'm like getting envious of this gift you have, how you can go so in depth, what seems so easily. I can only imagine the work that you're putting in behind the scenes. But I was so envious and so jealous, like I want to teach like that. God blocked me from a lot of knowledge for a long time. There's still stuff that isn't revealed to me, either because of the way I'm studying, or it could be things I'm still doing, or it could be anything. But there are things God is still blocking me from. But I was thinking about that today, like, man, I kept trying to get in close to this brother so that I could learn something. And then after watching your video today, I was like, all right, I kind of understand now why he was short with me. And it's comical when I look back at myself, but it's also very revealing of the level of wisdom that you have, and the patience that you have. Because it made me think today, after listening to that message to young Hebrews, this man had to be watching me. He understood exactly what I was going through. And he kept a safe distance. Why do I say a safe distance? Because when a Hebrew wakes up, when we come to understand who we are, and we return to God's law, we can sometimes be like a missile. No, that's probably not as nice. We can sometimes be like, a very volatile explosive, where if you shake it just a little bit, it's going to go off, and it's going to leave a huge mess in its path, which is basically what I was going through. I was mad, like, all these pastors been lying to me all these years, and all these Christians been lying to me all these years, got me eating pork and everything else unclean, and telling me as long as I pray over it, Jesus is going to bless it. And when I look back now, it's like, well, hold on. If this revelation just came to me, maybe the pastors that were teaching me didn't know. And then it's not a lie. A lot of Christians don't know, because it's what's been taught for so long. But when we first wake up, the only things we can point at are the law in Leviticus, or we can point to 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea. We can point to all these little specks, but we don't have the history. We don't have the Bible. We don't know how to get there to back it up. We don't know how to bring it out in a way that people are going to understand it. And it's just the truth. There's nothing, I'm not saying we don't learn fast. I'm just saying this only comes as the Father reveals it. This doesn't come because, I want it right now. That's not how it's going to happen. I mean, we could go around and regurgitate a bunch of people verbatim if we really wanted to and listen to their messages over and over again. It'd be really simple to do. But if you're young in understanding of who you are, if you're young in understanding of keeping Torah, keeping God's laws, I would highly recommend watching his video. I'll ask him, I can't have him do anything. I'll ask him to put it in the comments section of this. But watch his video, and he gives a piece of advice in there that will be perfect. I promise you. I wish somebody would have told me this. His piece of advice in there: sit down for a year and just learn. Don't do anything else. Don't correct nobody. Don't try to teach nobody. And it literally is the perfect piece of advice, because I'm just to the point where I can reach in the Bible and start to prove the things I say. Which is why I don't speak on any subjects that are too deep, because I'd get chewed up. I'd never be able to prove it, and I'd look like a fool, and I'd ruin my witness. So I'd highly recommend watching his video, and then just search him on YouTube. He says in there, don't go watching everybody. Please do not do that. I went that route. You're going to be hung up on things like, oh, his name couldn't have been Jesus because the J didn't exist till 500 years ago. Well, okay, then we don't speak English because English hasn't been around since the Hebrew. So I don't know what we're speaking, but it's not right. So you got to stop speaking it. You'll get caught up in ignorant things like that if you try watching everybody. I would steer you away from iuic. They have some very radical beliefs, but otherwise, yeah, find somebody like Elder Majors or, what's his name? I have to tag him in it because I can't pull his name off the top of my head. But another really good brother that goes super deep. There's a lot of great teachers out there. But until you grow that level of maturity where you're calm, you're past all the pain, like Elder Major says, until you're to that level of maturity, be very careful with who you let speak into you, because otherwise they're going to send you off on suicide missions left and right, and you're going to be confused. And I mean, I've seen it happen. I've seen brothers go from Hebrew to Kemet. I've seen brothers go from Christian to keeping the law to back to Christian. And the thing, even in some of the things they post, you can hear they're confused. But now I got the attention I was seeking, right? So Elder Majors does talk to me now. The first time he popped up in my thing, I was all excited. I'm like, hey, he's talking to me. And oh, it was not what I wanted to hear. I was getting rebuked for spouting off the mouth about something. He was basically telling me to slow my roll. But I don't know. It's different now. It's like now that I'm past that crazy period where everybody's a liar and all that craziness, things soak in a lot deeper. I'm a lot calmer as an individual. But yeah, check out his video. And don't seek attention that you might not want, because he don't hold back. So if you get out of pocket, you're going to see his little picture pop up in your messenger, and you might not like what he has to say. You might block him, but he's going to keep it real with you. He ain't going to lie to you. He ain't going to try to steer you wrong. He's going to try to help you. So be calm, be patient, and just go through the process. Try to hold your tongue the best you can, because you're going to have a lot of different feelings. So try to hold your tongue the best you can. That's the best advice I can give, just coming out of that craziness. I love you guys. Shalom.